So let's take a look at the completed project so you can kind of decide whether or not you want to make it. But, I love this little project. It's easy to make, pretty much all age groups. And like I said, I give you everything you need. You just need some cardstock or heavy printer paper. Now, this project comes from my love of Vincent van Gogh. I've had the privilege of traveling in America and visiting a lot of museums. And these pictures you see here, I actually took in various museums around the country of Vincent van Gogh's. And if I could describe his later work, I'd say it's luminescent. And it has a glow about it. And here's the painting in question. It was lost in the 1940s, believed to be in a fire, which is a shame, but it happens. I think there's about a dozen of his works that are gone. Another score of them that might still be around somewhere or would have been stolen or something like that. But I love this little painting. I use the actual graphics here to make our scene box, and I got a whole bunch more scene boxes on my website. But let's launch into the tutorial so you can get started.
Now you don't need a whole lot of supplies for this project, but print up the template. I have it. The link is in the description of this video down below, and everything you need is in it for the box and the various scenes inside. And if you can, print it up on, you should print it up on something sturdier than regular printer paper. 90-pound cardstock works really well. I printed it up on 110-pound. It's a little bit thicker. But you can also, if you don't have, you can't print on that kind of paper, you can just print it up on regular printer paper and then glue stick it to manila folder paper or a cereal box cardboard or something a little bit thicker, which would be quite fine. But thin paper is a little bit thin for making a box. So go ahead and cut out all those various parts. And anything with a dash line is a fold. And if you want to do some nice detail work with the cutting, use an X-Acto knife. That's my favorite X-Acto knife. I'll have a link to that knife in the description of the video too. I love that X-Acto knife for a couple of reasons. It's very holder friendly. It's got a good hold to it because of its shape, and also because it's safer because you loosen it and tighten up the blade on the end of it, on the pommel of the knife. Like, see that gray section of the knife? That's where you loosen and tighten the blade, which keeps your hands away from the blade. It's just safer. I like that function of it. So anyway, cut out the various parts, and then we're going to fold the various parts on the... Oh, let's take a look at Vincent first. And I've got Vincent in the template like this. See that little section there? And this is how you can handle that. This is so he stands up straight and inside the scene. You'll do this. Fold it this way so it goes like that, and then glue that down. And I was in a craft store somewhere, and I spotted some Elmer's Craft Bond Precision Tip glue pens. And I've never used like a glue pen. So I said, let me get some of those glue pens to see how they work, see what I think about them. And I like it because Elmer's glue is really good glue, just for crafting and making things. And, the precision tip, it works pretty good. I like it. So I'll show you right here how I use the glue tip. And I'll have a link to that too if you want to check out some of these. They're inexpensive, a lot of glue in them, but there you go. And kind of keeps things, you can really get the glue exactly where you want it, and it kind of keeps things cleaner. But so you put a little glue right here, and I'll show you, on that little tab. And then you just glue it like that. So that way now you've got a standable little model of Vincent. And what a wonderful painting too. I I can't express to you how grateful I was to see a whole bunch of Van Goghs in person. They're just magnificent. I so grab your bone folder. And there's another tool. I think I've talked about this in previous videos, but I love my bone folder for folding paper, for doing origami, doing any kind of paperwork. It really comes in handy. If you want a bone folder, I got a link to that too. My exact one that I have in the description down below. And if you want nice straight folds, use a ruler like that, some kind of a straight edge to just fold up these edges. But I give you this whole template, colored, coded, it's ready to go, and you just got to print it up and put it together. I think it'd probably take you maybe an hour. It's a nice little fun paper project. And I couldn't tell you how many more scene boxes I have. Tatapanco, it's also called Tatapanco. I must have at least a dozen different ones, in all different themes, like Lord of the Rings and stuff. But now use a glue stick or some glue to glue the base to the back, like this. And that's all taken right from the painting. That base is from the painting. I tweaked it so it could work for the scene box, but it's all, from the actual painting. It's a shame that painting is lost. He has, I think, about half a dozen paintings that are lost forever, and another score or two of works that are missing, have been stolen. Some have been returned. It's actually quite an interesting story, being probably the most famous painter in the world ever, maybe. And then, all right, so now glue on the sides, like this. And the wonderful thing about this is, I recommend you make your own scene box. On the website, I have a packet that's just an empty scene box. So you can get all the parts that are empty and then put in whatever there you want to put in. A popular thing for people to do is their own bedroom. You put in your bed and your dresser or whatever things you have in your bedroom, clock on the wall and stuff, and make your little scene of your bedroom is kind of cool. Hey, and while we're on that, Van Gogh's got a famous bedroom painting. Maybe you want to do that. Print that up and use those parts and make Van Gogh's bedroom. That'd be cool. But there you go. So now the sides and the bottom are on. Now let's put the internal parts, and there's just a couple of them. But I just thought that this painting lent itself to a scene box really nicely because it's simply layered. You've got the background, you've got the midground with the trees, and then you've got the foreground with our painter on his way to work. So put that midground in there like this, anywhere you want. I would say the rule of thirds applies, so about a third from the back could be kind of nice, but whatever looks good for you. Mine looks to be almost about halfway. And remember, if you make this project, be sure to send me a picture. I'll put it on my website, and I will send you a certificate of contribution. So listen, if you love Vincent van Gogh, give this video a thumbs up. If you love these little scene boxes, give me a thumbs up.
And remember, it's all about life, adventure, creativity and never losing that sense of wonder.